Now let's check out something from maybe the next decade. So kind of 70s, 80s style disco funk track that I've put together. This here's what the track sounds like. Maybe reminiscent of a certain Dua Lipa song, but no similarity intentional. Alright, so simple funky groove. This one was recorded on like a kind of 70s style jazz bass for more of that kind of zingy slap sound. Alright, so bass by itself, and we've got the P42 on flat. So again, where I'm going to start, well, this time I'm going to start by driving it where I get a sound that I like with. So 0. It's already thick. One of the things that's pretty cool to do, or that they included after I actually made a request, a suggestion perhaps, I said it might be cool to have a wet-dry mix, which is down here. So that gives you the chance to kind of really crank this saturation and then mix it with your dry signal. So that's 100% dry, and I'll start to dial in the saturated sound. I'm going to just leave it 100% wet just now, just so we can hear everything that's happening nice and clear with the P42. Okay, so probably not that much saturation, but usually about 50% I quite like. All right, now for some low end. Maybe actually about 100 is better for this one. So that's a fair amount of low end boost. But it's not out of control. Bring back in that high pass filter, make sure things are nice and tight. About 50. So I can probably wind this up a little bit more in the context of the track. Off. It's still there, but it doesn't have the same punch in the bottom end. Now the bottom end's got that nice sweet punch to it. Next, I want to really catch some more of that high-end sizzle on the slap. So let's use the high shelf EQ this time. So I've got it up around 4K, which is roughly where that kind of nice glassy pop is. Sweep that around a little bit. Maybe 3's better. It goes all the way up to 5. About 3.5 sounds pretty good for this one. Bypass. So interestingly, I haven't actually cut any mids, but by boosting the bass and the treble, your ear interprets that as a mid cut. So even though there's not a mid cut included, you don't need it. Because it's a high shelf, I'm also boosting a lot of stuff above 3.5K. So I'm going to use the low pass filter, which is essentially the opposite of a high pass filter, where it starts to attenuate frequencies above a certain frequency. So it's set to 20K just now. I'm going to bring that way down to probably around about 6. So you can hear when it's up there, it's really, really sizzly. Don't necessarily want all of that information in my bass track. So we'll bring it back to about 7. Dial it. So you could even use this to really lo-fi up something. So I want to get just enough of that snap, but not all the airy stuff on top. Sounds good to me, without it. With it, maybe I'll drive it a little bit more. If it makes me do that, I'm happy. Alright, so one other instance I wanted to talk about of using the P42 is actually on the drum track. So this is just an Apple loop here, just get straight disco break. And I've got the P42 on here. And it's on electric piano vintage grit because it just works. I was just flicking through some presets and I came across this one, and what I like about it is when I blend it in the dry again, and I'm going to bring that low frequency down a bit, and I'll bring that high frequency up a bit, maybe not that. Bypass. It's cool, but it just likes a little bit of life. So the kick has a bit more length to it, and then the hi-hats and the snare have a bit more air to them. I like it. So drums and bass together. And then we'll take the P42s off. Kind of dry sounding. And suddenly we've got a lot of size happening. So there you have it. There is the P42 in more of a kind of funk slap groove sounding thing, and also how to use it on a drum track. Next up, we're going to quickly look at it on a rock track. So stay tuned.